All right, what is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another KC Sports Report live stream. I have a lot to talk about tonight. I am live from the 810 studios as I'm normally trying to do that now. But I want to say it's been a really long day. I was board opping the KU TCU game. Went down to the wire. The Jayhawks lost by 3, which actually I wanted to address this comment really quickly. That's not actually why I started the live stream at 8:10. It just so happened to be that date, or that time rather. I don't know why, but that's kind of when I was able to get out. So with that being said, guys, hit that like button, comment, subscribe for more of the best Chiefs content on YouTube. Also get your thoughts in the comments below. I know a lot of people get on me for not reading the comments. That's on me. But I really do want to get to what I have to think about this game, and then I will for sure get to the comments. So before we get into the main portion of the video, I wanted to go over the injury report to talk about some of the notable injuries. Wide receiver Amari Cooper tested positive for COVID-19. So he's on the COVID list, which means that he is ruled out of this game, which means he's also ruled out against the Thursday game on Thanksgiving against whoever the Cowboys play. And tackle Tyron Smith is questionable with an ankle injury. Now, those are the two injuries that I thought were worth talking about because, Tyron Smith is a tackle. That's pretty big for their offensive line. And Amari Cooper is Amari Cooper. Like, you need Amari Cooper to be healthy and ready to go, and he's not going to be in this game. So the Chiefs did dodge a bullet there. But I wanted to talk about the Chiefs' injuries now. Lucas Niang, he's already been ruled out with a rib injury. L'Jarius Sneed is questionable with a knee injury. And Armani Watts is questionable with an illness. It's not COVID. It's just a sickness. So, the injury reports, I would say, are a lot more in favor of the Chiefs. Those Cowboys injuries are much bigger losses. But I do think that injuries are going to play a part in this game. But we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes. I did actually just see we got a super chat. Let me check out. Odin's Child, I appreciate the donation. It's donations like that help fuel the channel and all that fun stuff. So if you guys like the channel, you can do that via the super chat, but also just subscribe and hit the like button. Share this video with your friends and just get the word out, because I think as of right now, we're like 5 or 6 subscribers away from 6.2K. So let's hit that tonight if it's possible. But getting back to the game, the Cowboys are coming in this game at 7-2. Chiefs coming in at 6-4. This is a very big game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and there really is no way around it. If they can't take care of business, we're going to be left with the same questions that we had coming into the game against the Raiders. Are the Chiefs back? Are the Chiefs for real? And the title of this live stream is, Are the Kansas City Chiefs back? I cannot say the Chiefs are back yet. I'd like to. I know I said that on the live stream. I guess it was the post-game video last Sunday night. But, that was kind of me in the moment and the emotion of winning a pretty big game on the road against our most hated rival. That was a big win. We needed to win that game. And if you didn't win that game, we were going to have a lot of problems. But you were able to find a way to get it done. You won in blowout fashion, and it was something that we needed to see. So I was like, all right, the Chiefs are back. This is old Chiefs football. You win by multiple touchdowns. The defense does their part, and the offense looks phenomenal per usual. That is what we saw on Sunday. This is the real test. The Cowboys, like I said, they're 7-2. They're ahead of the AFC or the NFC East. I guess that's not really a flex, though, because it's the NFC East. But they're still leading their division. They're towards the top of the conference seedings. This is a legit team. Now, I guess we're going to talk about that in a minute, because you could make the case they're not a legit team, but the Cowboys are probably the best team that you've faced since, I want to say, the Titans, because I was going to say the Bills, but the Bills look all over the place, and the Ravens lost to the Dolphins. So you really don't know what the AFC is going to be like. And, the NFC over the past couple weeks has been just as hectic. We've seen losses like the Bucs lost to the Washington football team and a lot of other surprise upsets that really kind of made the NFL interesting to watch. I'm trying to pull up the Cowboys schedule right now because I'm not trying to downgrade the Cowboys' success or eliminate some of their wins, because a win is a win in the NFL. We know firsthand that it does not matter how you win; it just matters that you win. But I made this argument last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They won their games, great. But when they faced a team that was better, a better caliber team, they did not have the firepower to win those games. And it ended up getting them bounced at the end of the regular season last year, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying the Cowboys are that team, but I'm looking at their schedule right now. They lost to the Bucs in week 1. That's a good loss. I mean, if a good loss even exists, that's a good loss. They beat the Chargers in week 2. They beat the Eagles. They killed the Eagles in week 3. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Giants. They beat the Patriots. I guess the Patriots is a good win. Right now, the Patriots are actually surpassing expectations, and they might have a shot to win that division. They beat the Vikings 20-16. I remember that was without Dak Prescott, but does that win really mean much? I mean, I guess because their quarterback wasn't playing, but they beat the Cowboys, or they beat the Vikings. They got absolutely crushed by the Broncos. They lost 30-16. And then last week they beat the Falcons 43-3. So yeah, they got some wins. Yeah, they've won 7 games, but did anyone that I just read off give great team vibes? I don't think they did. All of those teams, besides maybe you can't argue the Chargers anymore. I guess you could say the Patriots. And besides that, they really haven't beaten anybody. And they got absolutely killed by the Broncos. So it's just like, we don't know what we're going to see from this Cowboys team. But at the same time, I don't know what we're getting from this Chiefs team. Like I said this last week, we could see a great Chiefs team, or we could see a terrible Chiefs team. There's no in between. And I think that we've seen a lot of improvements in terms of not turning the ball over. Defensively, we've seen a better defense over the past month. Some would argue month and a half. And I think that, yeah, that's important. But again, this is the test. This is a good Cowboys team that probably should beat you. But I think that the Chiefs are a better team than a lot of people are letting on. And I think that, we saw the shift last week. I'm really hopeful that everything that we've said over the past week comes to fruition, because the Chiefs truly did look night and day better last week against the Raiders than they have all season. We have not seen a Chiefs win like that, and I don't even know how long. And I think that, obviously we're going to have to see if it carries over, but I think that's pretty big. Now, getting into more of the aspects of this game, because there's a lot to it. I mean, my notes right here, Chiefs need to win this game. It's a real test. We talked about that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back from an MCL sprain. So he's coming back off of IR. That's a big gain for the Chiefs. I really think that they need to incorporate Clyde and Darryl at the same time. I think that we've seen over the past couple weeks, they love to run little dump offs and little screen passes to Darryl. I do think that Clyde would probably be a better option in terms of giving screen passes to running backs. I think that, obviously Darryl's had some success in this offense, but I would almost rather have Clyde get the dump off passes and the screen passes and let Darryl run it, because, Clyde's kind of shown his limitations in terms of burst and getting through and getting tough yards. I'm not saying that Darryl is much better, but I think that for whatever reason, Darrell Williams just works better in this offense. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but for whatever reason, when Darrell Williams is in the game, they are able to get those tough yards. They're able to run the ball somewhat effectively as long as they give Darryl opportunities. With Clyde, I kind of saw this year that, when you gave Clyde the ball, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't really spectacular. Now, I'm not saying Darryl was spectacular, but I will say the offense has looked better when Darryl is in the game opposed to Clyde. That's all I'm going to say. I posted that on my Instagram, which is KC_sports report. And I got to post it on Twitter later, which is at KC Sports Report. I think this is a legitimate conversation, and this is something that we're going to probably have to talk about in a completely separate video. But I think you can have the conversation as to which running back should start. I think that automatically they should split carries. It's not even really a conversation. You need to have both of these running backs in the game, and they need to be able to have some sort of impact. Now, I'm not saying that Clyde's got to be the starter or Daryl's got to be the starter, as long as they kind of go back and forth, because I think that both of them have something to offer in terms of catching the ball and running the ball. Now, again, I might want to see Daryl run the ball more, but I think that, Clyde kind of got his way on the Kansas City Chiefs because he was great in college. And what was he great at doing in college? It was catching those dump off passes. It was catching the screen passes and turning them upfield and running with it. The Chiefs have not utilized him like that. I don't know why. Quite frankly, I can't tell you why. But Andy Reid has not utilized Clyde Edwards-Helaire in probably the way that he should be. I think that if you want to have a guy unlock his full potential, he's going to have to go back to doing what he did great in college, and that's catching passes. So I hope we see a resurgence game from Clyde in which he can catch the football. But again, he's coming off IR. I'm not sure how much he's going to play, but I did think that was worth noting. After this game is the bye week. If the Chiefs were to win this game, they'd go into the bye week at 7-4, which if you would have told me that after going, what was it, 2-4? Was it 3-4? They were under 500. And if you can go into the bye week 3 games above 500, that's a massive win. You have won. I do not even care if you face the Cowboys without some of their pass rushers or their offensive linemen. I don't care that you beat a Raiders team that is going through a lot of turmoil within the franchise, without Henry Ruggs, without John Gruden, without Damon Arnett. I don't care that you beat a Packers team without Aaron Rodgers. A win is a win. The Chiefs needed these wins in the most desperate way, and really they got them. So I don't care how they happened. They happened. Now, obviously, we have to see what they do against the Cowboys, but I do think this is a game the Chiefs can win. And, some of the earlier games this year, I didn't think the Chiefs could win these games. Like, I didn't think they could beat the Packers. And even with Jordan Love, I thought there was a good chance the Packers won. I picked the Chiefs to lose that game against the Bills. I thought the Titans would probably beat us. This is a game in which I do think the Chiefs can win. And I think that is worth noting. Talking about this game on more of an in-depth level, the Cowboys are missing some pretty big pieces along their pass rush. They're missing, who are they missing? It is, where is that? I'm forgetting their names as of right now. They are missing, here it is, Dexter, what am I trying to find? Sorry, my notes are all here on the table. And okay, here it is. DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory are both out. No pass rush. I had a minor stroke there. I apologize for that. But that's 2 big pieces of their defensive line that are not going to be playing. And we've seen over the past couple of weeks that if Mahomes is under pressure, all right, you got a chance to win. If Mahomes is under continuous pressure in which he's got to step up in the pocket or get out of the pocket and go on the run and make a throw, he can do it, but it's a lot more difficult. And I think that, this is a pretty big, substantial loss for the Cowboys that nobody's really talking about. Missing 2 of your biggest pass rushers that are on IR, that's going to affect this game. In one way or another, the Chiefs are going to benefit from this. And the same thing goes for the defensive line for the Chiefs. The Cowboys are missing their tackle in Tyron Smith. We've seen this pass rush step up recently, and I would not be surprised if they had themselves a game. I think that, Melvin Ingram's addition was so big to this team, and for whatever reason, since he's been on the team, we've looked better. And I think that a lot of that is probably because they moved Chris Jones back inside. Jaron Reed's pulling his weight. Frank Clark is pulling his weight. And Mike Dana is back in a role in which I think that he probably should be at, and that's a backup. Mike Dana is a great backup to have. He just can't start, and that's my biggest issue. But I think that, bringing in Melvin Ingram, letting him kind of take over for Mike Dana, that's big, and the Chiefs needed that. So, like most football games, I think this game is probably going to be decided in the trenches. It's which quarterback is under the most pressure, and also which defensive line can get the most pressure. So I do think the Chiefs have an advantage in both of those aspects, but the Cowboys are a good football team. And, some of the other things that I have written in my notes, the Cowboys are fantastic at forcing turnovers on defense. They got Micah Parsons. The guy that everyone's talking about is Trayvon Diggs. Dude's a monster. He's got I don't even know how many interceptions. He led like the defensive player of the year conversation for a while because he was just racking up interceptions. So that's something to be concerned about. This Chiefs team has been pretty poor with the ball control. You've got to find a way to stop the turnovers. I get it. Last week, they didn't turn the ball over. Well, actually, they did turn the ball over. Mike Hughes fumbled it on the kick return. You need to be able to play a clean brand of football. If you let the Cowboys get extra possessions because you give them another chance, that is going to go very south very quickly. You got Dak Prescott and that Cowboys offense, which currently is the best offense statistically in the league. I get it. They have no Amari Cooper. Still got Michael Gallup. They still got CeeDee Lamb. That's a really, really good offense. And they've got Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard at the running back position. So they can run the ball. They can throw the ball. And I want to see how this Chiefs defense goes about attacking that offense. Because are you going to try to take away the pass? Because then Zeke and Pollard might have their chance to just blow this game open. But at the same time, if you stop the run, Dak Prescott was very capable of, at least before the injury, of tearing up a defense. And I still think he's got that potential and still that capability. So it's going to really be what the Chiefs decide to take away. And if I am Steve Spagnuolo and I'm the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm taking away Dak Prescott. I mean, you really can't take away Dak Prescott, but you've got to find a way to stop or at least limit the Cowboys' passing attack. If you let the Cowboys come out here and let Dak throw for like 400 yards and a couple touchdowns, and you let Zeke and you let Pollard rush for, let's say, 50 apiece, you will not win this game. You're going to have to play your best game against this team if you want to have a chance to win. But, you know, I talked about Diggs and his ability to pick off the ball and force turnovers. He also lets up a lot of yards. He's almost like a Marcus Peters type, in which he's going for the interception. He's sometimes even blowing his route and blowing his man, just trying to intercept the pass. And, you know, Peters had some success in Kansas City, obviously, but it was really frustrating because in an instance in which you need a guy to be covered, he's nowhere to be found. And I think that a lot of the same things can be said for Trayvon Diggs. And I think that we're going to have to see how the Chiefs attack that, but also my notes, which I actually did a lot of preparation for this show. So props to me, but the Cowboys don't play cover two. They play a cover one, but you know, a cover one and a cover two are vastly different. There's two deep safeties in a cover two opposed to only one. Obviously, I don't really know why I explain that, but obviously the thing that the Cowboys are going to have to be concerned about is a man by the name of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has been waiting to take the top off of defense all season. He did it against the Eagles and towards the end of the game. He's waiting for that opportunity again. And if the Cowboys don't change things up defensively, that ball to Tyreek Hill downfield is going to be open. I do not think the Cowboys have the personnel to play a cover one. They got to go cover two against this Chiefs team if they want to have any chance to win. But even if they do go into a cover two, you know, I get it. They've got a good linebacker in Micah Parsons who is not better than Nick Bolton, but that's besides the point. And they have some young players on that defense. But I don't think that they can keep up with this offense if they're taking the stuff that's underneath and they're attacking the middle of the field. I think that, you know, Travis Kelce made his presence known really early on in the game last week. And the Chiefs had a lot of success because they went to him frequently. I mean, we've seen over the past couple weeks where the Chiefs have really struggled that they haven't gone to Travis Kelce. Whether he was hurt or not, I don't really know. But he was not a factor in the games in which you lost. Last week, he had 120 yards. He was a big factor, and Tyreek Hill was too. So you're going to have to find a way to get your main producers on offense involved, whether that is Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, but you're going to have to at least get the ball to one of them and hope that, you know, in throwing to Travis Kelce 10 times in the first half, that opens up Tyreek Hill in the second half. But you cannot have Byron Pringle being your number one target. I like Byron Pringle. That is a dumb decision. You cannot have that and expect to win this game. But I think that, you know, you might see Clyde being your number two option outside of the big two, which I wouldn't be against. But also Clyde's coming off an injury again, so we're going to have to kind of be cautious in giving him a workload right away. But I think that you've got to find somebody else that can kind of give some production as a third option, I guess you could say. A second receiver, third option. I think it's probably going to be Byron, but Darrell Williams looked pretty good last week, guys. I was really pleased with what we saw from Darrell Williams. Now, do you want him as a receiver? Some do, some don't. I'm just leaning towards the narrative of we need somebody outside of the big two and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill that could be somewhat productive on offense. And I think that's why the Chiefs had such a great offense in that Raiders game. They moved the ball around. I mean, I think you had two receivers. I guess it was Darrell had over 100 yards receiving. Kelce did. And I think that Tyreek Hill had just under that. But the point is, most of the offense got involved. Noah Gray caught a touchdown. I want to see what this offense can do in spreading the ball, giving different players an opportunity to make a play. Because there's a lot of guys out there that can make a play, and they could. Now, the question is going to be, do they get a chance? And I think that in this game, they're going to have an opportunity to do something on the football field. Now, what they do, I don't know. But the point is, Patrick Mahomes has got to be looking for some of the other guys on the field and not just Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. But with that being said, also go to Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Let's see. Let me go over some more of my notes. The Cowboys defense is currently middle of the road. It's 15th. And hey, to our surprise, the Chiefs defense is actually ranked 26th. They were ranked 32nd a couple weeks ago. They've moved up a lot more spots than I was expecting. So we're seeing improvement. We are seeing improvement on the defensive side of the ball. And is it going to hold up this week? I'm not really sure. And if I was a betting man, I would say no. But I do think we are going to see a better defense than what we saw through the first couple weeks of the season. Because quite frankly, that was on pace to be one of the worst defenses of all time. That's not going to happen anymore. This is a team in which they're getting better defensively. And I think that, it might not be top 15. It might not be top 20. But, you've seen over the past couple weeks that they're playing complementary football. And I think that against the Cowboys, even though the Cowboys are a better offense, they're just going to put up more points. But we've also seen the ability for the Chiefs defense to at least get some stops. And, with the way this offense is performing right now, a couple stops is probably all you need. So I guess my final point would be that talking about this game, it could be an offensive explosion, which, you got two great quarterbacks going up against each other and two great offenses, to be quite frank. But this is probably going to be a defensive game. And what I mean by that is it's not going to be a game in which both defenses hold opposing offenses to under 20 points. That's not realistic. That's not going to happen. But what I mean by a defensive performance and a defensive showdown is which defense can get a good stop, which defense can step up and make more stops. And the defense that makes more stops is going to win this game. And I would guarantee that, because these offenses are pretty similar. The Cowboys, granted, they're more of a dink and dunk offense, and they don't like to go for the big play. Well, I guess I don't want to say they don't want to go for the big play, but they just don't. They're more of an offense that's going to take the 10-yard out routes and just move the chains. The Cowboys are great at moving the chains on offense, and that's respectable. Now, the Chiefs want to throw the ball deep. That's not a surprise. Patrick Mahomes wants to use his cannon and throw way down the field. We've seen over the past couple weeks that really doesn't work. I think that you've got to find a way to go over the middle of the field, throw the ball short, and make those two deep safeties come in. Once the Chiefs can run the ball effectively, which might not happen this year, and just to be quite honest with you, but once the Chiefs start taking the stuff underneath or run the ball effectively, those two deep safeties aren't going to be able to play deep. Like, they're going to have to come up in the box. And at that point, the deep shot's open. But Patrick Mahomes, at least not in the past couple weeks, he did last week, but, previously this season, he was going for the deep pass. It just wasn't open. The Chiefs have got to make that deep pass open, and they can do it. It's just being patient. I mean, we saw it last week. The deep pass was open a couple times, but you got to be patient. It's not just on the first play of the game, go deep. You've got to kind of work at it. And eventually, at some point, someone's going to blow a coverage. And when that's available, Patrick Mahomes has got to hit his man. But until that happens, you got to take what the defense gives you. And, you know, I think it was somebody over at RGR Football that said this. You can't fit square pegs into round holes. That just doesn't work. You need to find a way to do what the defense is trying to give you. And if they can do that, they're going to have a lot of success. So, I mean, those are kind of my thoughts. That's some of the brief thoughts I've given on this game. Now, I would like to say that I apologize for not getting more content out. I've been extremely busy with work and all that fun stuff. But, you know, the goal is always to get out a pregame show and a postgame show. More stuff will come in the playoffs if the Chiefs make the playoffs. It's just balancing schoolwork and YouTube and now the website and then this 8-10 job. It's a lot, but, you know, I love doing it. I'm having a really good time right now. And I appreciate you guys for coming out. There's 40 people here on I guess it's a Saturday night. I was not expecting that. So I really do appreciate it. We got to get these attendance on the live streams up more. But again, that's a lot on me. I haven't really been that consistent. So with that being said, we're about 26 minutes in. I want to use the rest of this live stream. I got about 30 more minutes left. I want to use this live stream and this time to answer questions, to talk to you guys, because I really haven't done a good job of that in previous live streams. It's been, all right, I got a guest, and we're just going to talk about this game for an hour. And I really kind of ignore you guys, but tonight's the night where we're going to answer the questions. We're going to talk about this game. It doesn't even have to be football related. If you just got a question about life in general, okay, I'm not a philosopher. I guess if you have a question about what's going on in my life or anything like that, just let me know. Let's see. I'm trying to find some of the questions. You guys have been going ham in the chat. I appreciate that. Oh, here's Odin's child. Cowboys won't be done like the Raiders coaches. Yeah, Cowboys, you know, Mike McCarthy is kind of an interesting case. A lot of Cowboys fans hate him. I mean, he kind of held that team up in Green Bay when he was the coach there. But for whatever reason, this year he's been a significantly better coach, at least than he's been in years prior. So he's not really a pushover anymore. And the Chiefs are going to have to come in this game with a better game plan. And, you know, that's actually leads me to this thought. I don't know who was calling plays last week against the Raiders, but whoever was calling plays needs to continue calling plays in the future. Like the offense was firing on all cylinders. They were unpredictable. And I don't know if Eric Bieniemy was calling the plays in the past couple weeks while the Chiefs are going through all these offensive miscues. But, I mean, whoever was calling them last week, they need to continue because the offense was just better. So we need to see that again. My wife is a Cowboys fan. I'm a Chiefs fan. Our house is going to be like Rumble in the Jungle. Hey, I mean, you're going to have to deal with that, but hopefully she's the one upset and you're not the one upset because the Chiefs are going to win this game. And I think they will win this game, but, you know, we'll have to see. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier in the show, but I kind of had a stroke, so it kind of got lost in translation. But, yeah, the Cowboys are missing two big pieces on their defensive line, and specifically edge rushers. Like, that's a big loss for the Cowboys. And with how well this Chiefs offensive line has been playing, Patrick Mahomes is going to have some time to throw. And if he's got time to throw, historically, it's shown that he's going to find his receivers. His receivers are eventually going to find a way to get open, and they're going to make a play. And I think that that's really important, that he's patient. And if he finds his receivers, it's going to be a long day for the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow. Let's see. I'm so far back. I went on a little rant here. I don't want Clyde back in the lineup until he's 100%. Well, I think he's going to play tomorrow. He might not be 100%. I probably doubt he's 100%. But, you know, in the NFL, is anyone really ever playing 100%? Like, you have 100% that you tell the media, but you're never really 100%. Like, you sustain enough hits over the course of the season and sustain enough minor injuries that, you know, getting to week 11 and now there's an extra game this season, everybody's going to be banged up. Now, Clyde's obviously coming off of a pretty significant injury in which he missed some time, but, you know, I think that he probably could have played last week. They were kind of working him back into the lineup, and he just didn't. So I think that this week he's going to be about as close to 100% as we're probably going to see him. Let's see. I'm in favor of throwing it to Darrell and running it with him more often than Clyde. I said the same thing. Like, I don't know if it's a knock against Clyde. It's just maybe it is a knock against Clyde. I just think Darrell's been better. Now, that's up to interpretation. I think you could probably say the numbers reflect that Clyde's been a better option, but for whatever reason, Darrell just looks better in this offense, and I don't know why. It's not like I have a bias against Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't, but I just want to see a good football game in which the Chiefs can effectively run the ball or at least get some production from their running backs. And recently, it would kind of show you they haven't gotten production out of their running backs. And when Darrell Williams is in the game, they tend to get at least something rather than very little. Let's see. Oh, I'm really far behind. LA, that's possible. That's very possible. But I will I will point this up. You guys did lose to the Vikings. But hey, they beat us earlier this year, and props to the Chargers for doing that. I already picked that we were going to lose to the Chargers once this year. Depending on what they do in Los Angeles, it could decide the division. I don't really know the Chargers' schedule off the top of my head, but our schedule has a lot more divisional games towards the back end of the schedule. You're going to have a chance to go on a run here against the Broncos, against the Raiders again. You can compile some wins here. Now, I don't know what the Chargers' schedule looks like, but when you're losing games to the Vikings, you don't really have a ton of gimmies on the schedule. Here we go. I think that Matt Moore will be Kansas City Chief next year, or do we keep Moore and let Chad Henne walk? Matt Moore, I don't even believe is on the team. I think he's retired. I think that Chad Henne could probably walk. I don't really like Chad Henne as our backup. I'm not trying to slander the GOAT in Chad Henne, because what he did last year in the playoffs, I mean, that really should be worth a lifetime contract extension. Hey, however long you want to play, you want to back up Mahomes, fine. You can do that. But I think that, if that situation comes about again, Chad Henne's not a great backup. I would say he's towards the bottom of the backups. And I would rather have somebody else, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to see some of the comments. I'm really far behind, but hey, I appreciate all the comments, and I'd rather be behind on them than have nothing to talk about. So that's a good question, Richard. Do you want to change your mind about Veach? I am going to hold off my thoughts on Brett Veach. I'm not fully ready to recount what I've said, because personally, I don't think I've been as harsh on Brett Veach as my guy Josh Fan has been, or even Lucas. But at the same time, I can acknowledge his free agency classes over the past couple years, outside of maybe one or two guys, they've sucked. In his first draft, it sucked. But this past draft class, Nick Bolton, superstar. Creed Humphrey, the best center in football. I'm probably going to write about that either on my website, kcsportsreport.com, or on Fansided. Creed Humphrey is legitimately the best center in football. And I was not expecting that. I thought that he had a chance to be good. He didn't have, in my mind, right away, all-pro potential. He could legitimately be an all-pro. You got Trey Smith in the 6th round, steal. He's a starter on your offensive line. And you got guys like Noah Gray, who, haven't been super productive, but they've found a way to at least see the field and give some production. Now, I think that, their roles will kind of advance once they're in the offense longer. But, I'm really hesitant to say that Brett Veach has done a terrible job, because we don't really know what this season's going to hold. If they lose the remainder of their games, then yeah, I think that something has got to be said about some of the talent that he's brought in, because let's be honest, like the talent in which he thought they had against the defensive line, they don't have. Like, they've overestimated. They've paid guys in which they shouldn't have paid. Frank Clark and Alex Okafor and Jerron Reed for the most part. Like, there's still some questionable calls, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think that, again, that's a decision. I'm not even saying fire him. I'm just saying, like, you can be critical of a general manager that kind of fumbled on some of the issues that you probably should have addressed. And number 2 wide receiver might be another thing. Like, I'm not here to say that Brett Veach needs to be fired because I think that's stupid. I think that's really, really stupid. We've not seen enough of a sample size for us to say he needs to go because we're 6-4 right now. How many 6-4 teams are talking about firing their general manager after going to back-to-back Super Bowls? That's not a smart opinion. That is not something that I believe a lot of people are trying to do. I think that at this point, we've seen some improvement. We've seen a shift, so to speak, hopefully. I think that's enough to kind of say that, hey, like, we were overreacting, and Brett Veach, even though he's had some questionable calls in the past, he did do an okay job of at least giving us something to work with. But again, it's going to be contingent on how the rest of the season goes. Because if they don't win another game, we're going to be having the same conversation. It's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about how this season ends. I don't agree. But hey, if he does, I'm perfectly fine by saying that. Hold on. Since LA Original wants to be a hater, I'm going to pull this up. We're going to the tape. We got to go to the tape. Nick Bolton has been a better linebacker, yet maybe a better defensive player than Micah Parsons. And statistics back it up. I wanted to find this because I was this surprised when I saw it. Nick Bolton leads the NFL in tackles for loss. Not rookies, the NFL. He's 4 more tackles for loss than any other player in the NFL. As a rookie in this Chiefs defense, he's defensive rookie of the year. He's been better than Micah Parsons, and it's not really a debate. I really don't think you can argue it because he's just better. Like, I just read it to you. Like, the stats don't really lie. And I get it that Micah Parsons is having a good season, but I think that Nick Bolton has been one of the best defensive rookies in football this year. Like, what he's been able to do is insanely impressive. Impressive, not oppressive. I'm slurring my words. It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to hop on here, but I'm sure glad that I did. Let's see. LA said something. When did Darcy become a comedian? LA, I'm just a naturally funny guy. I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. The only reason San Diego won, we beat ourselves. We almost turned the ball over 4 times. Yeah, turning the ball over kind of sucks. What's going on, Joel? I'm not even going to put that comment up on the screen. I'm not even going to amuse you by putting up that because I am offended by that comment, Joel. Joel's my guy, everybody. Just letting you guys know. Yeah, Fenton's a superstar, guys. Like, according to PFF, he's one of the highest graded corners in the league. He's really, really good at football. Like, I've been on the Fenton train for a long time now. I kept saying, hey, you've got a much needed gap in the secondary, and specifically at corner. You need to play Rashad Fenton. You need to put him over Mike Hughes. You need to have him starting and playing a lot more than some of the other guys like Trevarius Ward. And it's shown that Rashad Fenton is really, really good at the game of football. Like, he is legitimately showing starting cornerback material in the NFL, and he's looked good when he starts. And that's really a big positive. Man, that's really a big positive for this Chiefs team. Let's see. I'm trying. Ooh, LA and Aaron are getting into it. That's an interesting matchup. God, Joel, you need to calm down. I have the potential to block you. I'm not going to, but I could. You should care by how many. A good team would have won multiple scorers. What do you think happens if the Chiefs don't beat themselves? I feel like that wasn't directed at me. But yeah, I mean, guys, the AFC has completely been a head case this year. I don't know what to tell you. Why you're seeing teams like the Bills and the Titans and the I guess not really the Titans, but the Bills and the Ravens and the Chiefs all struggle in the ways they are. That's really confusing to me. But, we've seen an NFL season in which a lot of teams, not just in the AFC, are suffering losses in which they probably shouldn't suffer. So I think it's kind of been interesting. It's led for some interesting games and in which they're fun to watch. But I've been very shocked with how we've seen this NFL season go. Michael, I want to be like you, do streams, but how do I start? My brothers have a channel. Just start a YouTube channel, get StreamYard, and you can stream. It's free. I do pay for the StreamYard Pro version, but you don't have to pay for it. It's free, and it's just starting, guys. It's just posting content and seeing if anybody reacts to it, and a lot of it is just getting better at it, because I was watching some of my old videos and they are really, really bad. So I like to think that I've come a long way, but we will see. Man, LA is coming in with a little grudge against the Chiefs. Hey, it's going to be a really good game, LA. When we play you guys again later this season, it's going to be a really interesting game. Let's see. I've been saying this all year. Bolton is the bright spot on this defense before they turn it all around. He was the only guy playing with heart. Yeah, and also, I have never seen this before. He actually tackled Derrick Henry in the backfield. How many linebackers, not just rookie linebackers, how many linebackers can do that? Not very many. I can't really talk about any. Like, I don't know of a linebacker that has really gave Derrick Henry fits. Nick Bolton had Derrick Henry frustrated, and this wasn't a Derrick Henry that was injured. This was a Derrick Henry that was healthy and just at times struggled against Nick Bolton, who has been really good in stopping the run. Does he actually? I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. Let's see. Oh, it's lead the league. Oh, wait. I'm pretty sure he leads the league, like the whole league, against tackles for loss. Let's see. Yeah, Andy Reid got it. And I tweeted that out. I said that win was so big for like the momentum and just like the confidence of this Chiefs team, because like, let's be honest, you pan to Travis Kelce towards the end of the Bills game. He's just kind of sitting there like, and like the whole team just kind of looked down. But that win, it just kind of seemed like their spirits went from about here to up here. Like it seems like they're back to having fun. And, this is a game in which they're getting paid millions of dollars. And I get it. Life's not always fun and stuff like that. But like having fun, getting back to having fun while you're playing football, it makes the game more enjoyable. And I think that, these guys needed to get back to doing what they did best. And that was winning. And the best way to get back to winning was by having fun. But winning is also fun. So, I mean, it's kind of a two sides thing. Brett Veach is at a first-round pick this year. Kind of curious what he does, considering he hardly ever has a first-round draft pick. Yeah, that's very true. And I think that if they traded away, depending on what they traded for, that would be really bad, because you need to draft an edge rusher. I don't even think that's a debate anymore. You need to draft an edge rusher, and you could really use a corner. Like, it would be very nice if you could draft a corner. And I said this even when the Chiefs were struggling defensively. I would not be mad if you spent 6 of your 7 draft picks, or maybe even all 7, which you actually might have more than 7 draft picks, because you're going to get a comp pick for Sammy Watkins. But I think that you could legitimately draft all defense. Like that is a very big possibility. And I think that I would be very happy with just drafting all defense. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. They could decide to pull a move and draft a wide receiver in the first round. And I wouldn't exactly like that, but you never know. I appreciate it, Sean. I appreciate it. I'm just doing my best. This game will definitely come down to whether or not the front four can get pressure, because you can't blitz Zach. The front four has got to get there. And like I said, the Cowboys offensive line, they are going to be missing one of their tackles in Tyron Smith. But the Cowboys' offensive line has been praised for the better part of the past 3 or 4 seasons for its for its great ability to be the best. Like they've been probably the best offensive line in football for the past couple years. Now, those pieces along the offensive line are aging. They're not really the same anymore. And I think that that is going to leave some opportunity for the Chiefs to apply some pressure. And all you got to do is make Dak uncomfortable. Dak is coming off of a pretty serious injury. And, even a couple weeks ago against the Vikings, he sat out because that ankle was bothering him. So I think that if you can get to him and set the tone early, maybe blitz early on in the game to just make him even more uncomfortable, that's what you got to do. You got to make it so Dak Prescott knows that, hey, someone's around him. Someone is going to be around him 24/7. And hopefully we see Frank Clark get a sack. Hopefully we see more internal pressure with Jerron Reed or Chris Jones. That would be nice. But it's all about applying pressure. I don't care how it happens. It's just you got to apply pressure. I wouldn't even be against. I know you talk about you can't blitz. I think you can blitz on a couple of different instances. Now, I would say you've obviously got to blitz with the intention that you've got to get him, but also at the same time, like you need to set the tone early. Like if you give up a 5 or 10 yard pass because you blitz and there's just nobody else in coverage, but when you get to Dak Prescott, you hit him hard to the ground, that's worth it because every snap and every time that Dak Prescott drops back to pass, he's going to think of L'Jarius Sneed coming through the gap, or he's going to think about Dan Sorensen blitzing, or he's going to think about Chris Jones hitting him. That is the kind of getting into a quarterback's mind that you need to have. Like you just need to have that. And I hope they do blitz at least a little bit in the beginning. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with eating my words on that. I thought that Nick Bolton was a guy, and I mean, I haven't been super wrong about Nick Bolton. I thought that he was very capable of tackling players, but Nick Bolton's not great in coverage. I think he's getting better. And for a rookie linebacker that has exceeded my expectations, he's been pretty good. Like in his ability to stop the run kind of masks the fact that he's not great in coverage. But I mean, yeah, I will admit I was very, 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 very wrong. Like, oh yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about some of my old takes, there's times where I have been so far on, like I literally hit it right on the money. And there's also times where I look like an idiot, and I look like an idiot a lot, but most of the time I try to come close. And I think for the most part, I've done an okay job of predicting stuff correctly, or else no one else would watch me. But yeah. Oh, what's going on, Brandon? I do want to say that, I made a video a while back. It was actually before the season started on why Mahomes, and I thought he throws downs, and that is a very big possibility. Like he could still do that. I think I said that he could, or that he was probably going to throw 7, 8 interceptions. He's past that. Yeah, I might have just glitched out, guys. I think I'm back, but I think before the season started, if that cut out, so I have to kind of state my point. Before the season started, I made a video talking about why I think that Patrick Mahomes could win the MVP. And, I said that, he was going to be very efficient, very effective. He did turn the ball over a lot more than I thought he would. But, one thing that I wanted to talk about since I've had you guys here for a while, I think there could be a legitimate case for Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP if he keeps it up. Because right now, and I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, this is the most interactive chat we've had in a while. Who is your MVP candidate right now? Who is it? Now, I'm not saying it's Patrick Mahomes. He's got to have a better string of games in which he looks good. But, he's had 2 games this year where he's thrown for 5 touchdowns. He's second in the league in touchdowns, and he's second in the league in passing yards. Those are really, really big statistics. Like, that really is what the MVP race comes down to. And I think that if Patrick Mahomes can have a good rest of the season, he will be your MVP. Like at this point, I don't think that he's been very good this year in Patrick Mahomes standards. He's been below average. I tweeted this out. I guess I posted this on Instagram. He's second in passing yards and he's second in passing touchdowns. And this is considered the worst year of Patrick Mahomes' career. There's levels to this bleep, as as Josh Briscoe would say. There clearly are levels to the quarterback position. Like that is just crazy how Patrick Mahomes can be having a down year and he's still almost leading the league in all of these major statistical categories. It's incredible. I do not understand it, but that just speaks to how good Patrick Mahomes is. Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately the mindset you have to have. MVP rings don't really mean anything in terms of the team's overall success. Yeah, I get that. But, I think that why we as fans care that our quarterback or our player wins the MVP is that's a reflection on your organization. You want to have the best player in football. You want to have the most valuable player in football. And I think that, Patrick Mahomes is a good 5-6 stretch away from probably bring home his second MVP. Like, legit. Hopefully I didn't. I think the screen just buffered a little bit, but yeah. So I probably got about 10 minutes left. Get your questions in. Talk about this game some more. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, and we're just gonna finish out this live stream the same way we started by having a good time. So let's see. I mean, Marlon, you didn't have to get me on the technicalities, and technically, he didn't look terrible. I mean, in the game that he played against the Broncos in Week 17, he looked all right. All right, Daniel. Quite frankly, I don't know who you are, but you comment on all of my videos, especially when the Chiefs win, and you quote me saying things that I quite frankly never said, or you don't really understand what sarcasm is. Like, I'm not trying to put you on blast. I'm not trying to call you out, but you said something like, oh, Michael said that they're never going to touch Patrick Mahomes. He's never going to get sacked. That's an exaggeration. Like, football, you're going to get sacked, but me saying Patrick Mahomes is going to have all day and Patrick Mahomes is going to be much safer, that doesn't mean he's never going to get touched, but it's an expression. So yeah, I don't know who you are, but it doesn't matter that he's second most in the league in interceptions. If he leads the league in touchdowns and he leads the league in passing yards, I don't care if he leads the league in interceptions. He's still got a very, very good shot at winning the MVP because he leads the league in, I get it, one of the worst categories, but he also leads the league in one of the best categories. Let's see. Let's see Mahomes toss up 5 touchdowns and over 400 yards for the past 2 years with some of the greatest QBs to ever play the game. How many times has Tom Brady done that? Not more than Mahomes. Mahomes has done it, I think, the second most in NFL history. So, I mean, Tom Brady's never really had the impact on a game in which Patrick Mahomes does. Tom Brady's a great game manager and he's the GOAT. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, if you give Tom Brady the ball back with a minute left in the game, he's going to go down there and win it. But I think the same thing is true with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can score that ball in 30 seconds if he needed to, maybe even less. Like, we've seen some plays in which they score on one play, like high school style. Like, they are going to use one play and they're going to score. And Tom Brady's offense, it's just not geared towards that. They maybe could if they tried it, but I don't think that he has the arm talent anymore. And I also don't think that that's really his calling card. Patrick Mahomes is a gunslinger. Tom Brady's not. It always comes back to Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. I don't know why we end up talking about this, but we always end up talking about it by the end of the live stream. I don't know what to tell you. Darcy, what do you think the linebackers will do Sunday? If the Chiefs were smart and the Chiefs wanted to win this game and have the best chance to win this game, they would put Nick Bolton at the Mike position. And I think that they're probably going to have him on the weak side. I think that you probably put Willie Gay on the strong side. But I think that Hitchens should in reality be on the weak side, and Bolton should be in the middle, but clearly Steve Spagnuolo does not believe what I believe. So at the end of the day, guys, you really can't get too upset, because at the end of the day, like, Dan Sorensen, regardless of what he does on the football field, unless he just flat out stops trying, in which he kind of did that earlier this year, but if he just gives up like on every single play and just decides to sit down in the middle of the field, unless he does that, he's going to play. Like, he's earned the trust and the love, quite frankly, of Steve Spagnuolo, that it really doesn't matter what he does on the football field. As long as he is shown his ability to know where to be, whether he can get there or not, that's not really up for debate. He is going to be on the football field. And the same thing could be said for Ben Neiman. It really doesn't matter that they struggle. It just kind of shows you that they trust those guys in the organization. And I kind of forgot what point I was trying to make, but the same thing could be said for was I talking about the linebackers? I went off on a huge tangent, but yeah, I'm going to move on, because quite frankly, I'm very tired and I lost where I was going with that. Hey, I do appreciate it, Gary. You've been here for a long time, just like a lot of you guys have, like Tony, and Aaron and all the guys. And I'm Marlon's one of them too. Like, I'm not trying to leave you guys out. Like, all of you have been here for a long time, and I really do appreciate that. I could make a video on the Chiefs offensive line. That's probably something more worth writing about, which I might do that. But yeah, I mean, this offensive line has been very, very good, especially on the interior. I've been really happy with how they've been going. Let's see. Patrick Mahomes is still learning that's the truth, and he had a foot surgery in the offseason. People seem to play that down. I mean, you can't really talk about the foot injury, because like that happened a long time ago. Like, I get it, some injuries take a long time to heal and bounce back. It wasn't a problem with his foot. That wasn't a problem. The problem was his confidence was bad, and whoever was calling the plays, and I don't know who it was. I was kind of leaning towards Andy Reid. It could have probably been Eric Bieniemy, but whoever was calling the plays, they were stubborn. They weren't taking the small stuff. They weren't doing the simple, easy thing. And I think that kind of weighed on Patrick Mahomes, and pair that with the fact that he kind of felt like, oh, damn, I got to kind of score 3 touchdowns on every single possession. That's going to weigh down on a quarterback. And now he's seen his defense, actually give him some support. And, I've always kind of thought, like, all right, if I was a quarterback, like, if they ask you about your defense, you can't just flat out say they suck. And you're always going to say that you trust the defense. If I was Patrick Mahomes, I actually would have trust in the defense at this point. Like, that could be a really, really dangerous mentality to have, because we really haven't seen this defense be productive for that long. But, over the past month, they've been really, really good. And in fact, you've won a lot of the games in which you've won because of the defense, and you got to give them props. Defense shows up big, make Dak look inept. Pringle and Williams have a huge day. Mahomes throws 5 TD passes and 1 rushing touchdowns, no interceptions. I am just waiting for the day in which Patrick Mahomes throws 6 touchdowns. It's going to happen. Like, he could legitimately break, I think it's Tom Brady's record, 6, maybe 7 touchdowns in a game. He could break it. Legitimately, he could break it. It's just going to be a question of, do the Chiefs want to end their opponent's will? Like, if they go pedal to the metal for 4 quarters, I don't doubt that. But, we kind of see the Chiefs, especially with Andy Reid, they kind of let up after a certain point. And that's good for morale of the other team and stuff like that. Because quite frankly, you don't need to go 110% if you're up by 25. But I mean, I would like it. I'm not gonna lie, I would like it a lot. Carlos asks, Michael, how much have you changed your opinion on Nick Bolton since the draft? I've changed my opinion for a long time ago. Like, I think that he's been probably the best defensive player on this team, and you could debate that, but I think Nick Bolton's been spectacular, and I think he was the right draft pick. And Like I said earlier in the live stream, I was wrong. I was really, really wrong. But, it's always nice to be wrong about something in a positive way because I was wrong, but we have one of the best young linebackers in football. Oh no. Like, that's something that I will gladly take the L on. Like, I don't mind that. Marlon, yeah, I do appreciate that. And Aaron, just trying to get through the Saturday, just trying to get through it. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, Carlos? Hi, Aaron Morrow. Yeah, Aaron has done a great job of being a chat mod around here. He asked to do it I think it was a year and a half ago. Man, time really flies. But I appreciate all the work that he does around here because sometimes, not as much this year, but, in previous years, when I was getting 200, 300, 400 people in here at once, we get a lot of trolls. We get a lot of those. And hey, I hope to get back to the point where I'm getting those viewers consistently. But again, like life's been busy. Life's been busy for me. I'm sure life's been busy with you guys. Kind of once COVID shut down, I mean, everything's been back and just a full workload and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good time to be a Chiefs fan. They're 6-4 right now. They have a chance to win this game this week against the Cowboys. See what I did there? I was trying to get back into the game. But really, I think that the Chiefs can win this game. They got to run the ball. They got to take the stuff underneath. Patrick Mahomes is going to have to be efficient. Don't turn the ball over. Get pressure with your front four. Get after Dak Prescott. Protect Patrick Mahomes on the other side. The Cowboys don't have their two best defensive line guys. And if you can do that, you will win this game. Just don't turn the ball over, and you're going to have a shot. But that's obviously easier said than done. But I wouldn't say the Chiefs have a good chance to win this game if I didn't truly believe it. Like, I do believe the Chiefs have a good chance to win this game. It's just going to be, are they going to hurt themselves? And if they do, it could be a long day. But if they don't, the Chiefs are really going to have a good chance to win this game. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to end this Saturday night live stream. I do appreciate everybody for coming out here. We had like 45, 50 people in here at once, which is a really, really big thing. So I do appreciate that. Hit that like button on your way out. Go subscribe, obviously, to the YouTube channel. Hit 6.2K if we haven't already. I think that we're pretty close to that, but let me check that really quickly. We're close to 6.2K, so hit that subscribe button on your way out. And what else do I have to plug? The Instagram is Casey_sports report. I do pretty much daily content now on the Instagram and Twitter, which is at KC Sports Report. We got the website up now, kcsportsreport.com. Go check that out. More content's going to be coming there soon. And hey, I will be back here tomorrow night following hopefully a Chiefs win, but I'll be back here regardless. And I will be looking forward to talking to you guys. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you and have a great rest of your Saturday night. Peace.